I apologize for the late live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I just ran 50 miles and I feel like I'm going to die. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about all the last minute injury updates. Obviously, I'll be live streaming as well on Sunday morning to answer all your fantasy questions, as I always am. But let's go ahead and let's start it off. I mean, I will point out that you've had a ridiculous amount of trade rumors as of late. Specifically, not so much with Jalen Waddle. Obviously, that's what this report is coming from Ian Rappaport. But specifically with Breece Hall, the trade rumors have just been getting pounded in over and over and over again, where you are going to have to be on the lookout for some pretty big trades potentially happening next week, as that's when the NFL trade deadline is, I believe. Now, let's go through and let's look at the injuries. Obviously, you had a Jaire Alexander trade. I'm not smart enough to tell you if this means anything at all. Based on what his cost was, I would assume that it is completely meaningless. Kyler Murray officially listed as questionable. So Kyler did get in the limited practice, but it's a very interesting spot for Kyler, right? Because if you're looking at the matchup, this is a dream matchup that you have going up against the Dallas Cowboys, where if you were ever going to start Kyler Murray, you'd want to do so in this game. There's a big but on this, though. That game is going to be on Monday. So if you had Kyler Murray, realistically, you're probably not going to be able to go through and bank on him playing. Now, Hassan Haskins placed on the IR. I think that this means there's a very real shot that you end up seeing a trade where maybe Breece Hall is sent to the Los Angeles Chargers. You'll see exactly how good Kamani Vidal projects. With the projections, we'll show you in just a second. Jalen Burks going to play. Who cares? Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets elevated from the practice squad by the Chiefs for week 9. Realistically, do you pick up CEH? No, of course not. But if you were looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire being active, probably makes Brashad Smith and Kareem Hunt less exciting. We'll show you the rankings in a sec. So here, the head coach in Arizona says, Bam Knight will be the first one that goes out there, but all three of them will have their own role. We'll see who's running it well, and that guy will probably get a little more touches. So this tells me, especially if you're going to look at the Bam Knight projections, we'll see in just one second, that if you were going to start any Arizona running back, it would be Bam Knight. Obviously, it's a great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, but realistically, none of them are like must-start names. And we have Jacoby Brissett officially starting week 9. I actually did not see this, so I guess maybe Kyler's questionable to be active, but Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter, so never mind. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have to go through. I'll have to nuke Kyler in my ranks. Don't even give the hesitation on starting or benching Kyler Murray this week. Realistically, I will say this probably has no impact whatsoever on Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison. Joe Flacco is going to start. So Jamar Chase, elite level wide receiver. T. Higgins is startable as well. The trade deadline intel, we can talk about that more in depth tomorrow morning. Brian Thomas not listed on the injury report. And also you have no Travis Hunter. I was surprised to see how well Brian Thomas Jr. projects out for this Sunday game. They removed Woody Marks from the injury report in week 9. Realistically, I wouldn't really want to start him. Cut Dalton Schultz now that Nico Collins is back. And Christian Kirk is going to be back as well. Marvin Mims is listed as out. It's a really tough matchup, though, going up against the Houston Texans. You start Cortland Sutton. That's probably about it for Denver. Let's see if we have anything. Jacoby Myers, as well as Brock Bowers, 100% good to go. Please play Bowers. Mac Jones going to start week 9. I feel like we talked a lot about this yesterday. Ricky Pearsall ruled out. And see if there's anything else that we have to discuss. Main thing we have to discuss, you have no DeAndre Swift, you have Kyle Monangai. So how the hell are these running backs going to project out now? I'm sure y'all aren't new to this live stream, so you probably already know what's going on, but maybe somebody's watching this later on is wondering, Mason, where the hell are you getting these projections from? Why are they in just a notes app on your Mac? And it's because I just spent the past hour or so going through and searching every fantasy player to pull the latest projections from Underdog Fantasy to see what their higher lower is for yards. The reason I think that this is a very valuable set of projections is because Underdog has stuff to lose with this. I know some people that don't really understand Underdog thinks that they just take the same amount of money on both sides. I'm going to tell you that's not the case right now. So what I do is I go ahead and I just keep it super simple. I look up Jahmyr Gibbs, go, oh, he's higher or lower 100.5 yards for this Sunday. Let's go through, let's write that down, and let's order these running backs in the list that they are for their higher lowers, so we can just go ahead and show you who projects out to be a must-start name and who projects to be somebody that you should look to bench. Obviously, the top running backs in fantasy are not going to surprise anybody here. You have half a brain cell at the very least. I know that. So you already understand that if you have Christian McCaffrey, if you have Jonathan Taylor, if you have Bijan, if you have Gibbs, they are must-start names. But what really did surprise me is looking at our next list of running backs. Kyle Monangai has the 5th highest projection of any player right now on Underdog Fantasy. Higher, lower, 95.5 yards. The only running backs ahead of him are Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey. Now, while all of y'all have more than half a brain cell, it's to be determined. So I'm not going to be able to sit here and tell you exactly how good of a football player Kyle Monangai is. I frankly don't really know. But if he is stepping into a phenomenal matchup where the Bears project out very well against the Cincinnati Bengals, Underdog has him for more yards than James Cook, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs. Kyle Monangai needs to be in your starting lineup. Let's just go ahead and see what the exact projections are here. He is currently higher, lower 15.05 fantasy points, higher, lower 95.5 yards. And honestly, we already moved him pretty high in our weekly rankings yesterday. But I'm going to move, I would start Kyle Monangai over Ashton Genty. I'm not going to have him as my 15th ranked running back. Don't get me wrong. I would still start Kyron. I'd still start Josh Jacobs, James Cook, Javonte over him. But I do want to rank Kyle Monangai here. Ignore the running backs with the buys. So it says RB14. This is the create rankings list on flockfantasy.com. If you're looking at the site just on the front end, you won't see those buy players. So I'm going to rank Kyle Monangai as our RB11 this week. And of course, if you disagree with these projections, you know, say, Mason, you're an idiot. Crazy that he projects to be a top 5 running back this week. By all means, go take the lower. You do you. I would say that you probably know less than Underdog does, to be completely honest. But I'll leave you the link in the description, in the comment section, in the live chat. I always do. Code FLOCK will get you $100 added to your Underdog account after you play your first 5. And on top of that, you'll actually get a free Josh Allen pick, higher, lower, half a total yard for the game tomorrow, and free live streams that you can ask us in, whenever you want. Free questions for the live streams. And I'm going to be live streaming every single day, answering your fantasy football questions until Christmas. The link's in the description, comment section. Underdog Fantasy is available in almost every single state. But let's move over to our next tier running backs. Next tier running backs are going to be Jaylen Warren, Josh Jacobs, Ashton Genty, Javonte Williams. You can tell for me, I'm not ranking these running backs exactly how they project on Underdog. I have Josh Jacobs ranked a lot higher than this because I do think that Josh Jacobs very likely to score a touchdown this week. Same thing with Kyron Williams. But it is noteworthy that Jaylen Warren, Kamani Vidal, Kyle Monangai project out this well. So you can also see in my rankings that Kamani Vidal, again, take out these 3 players. They're on bye. So he's my RB13 in my rankings this week. You start Kamani Vidal with no Haskins and with pretty much nobody in this offense. Our next group of backs will be Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne, Trevion Henderson, Bam Knight, and Rico Dowdle. And honestly, you can kind of put a mini tier here of Tracy and Etienne. I will say these top 14 running backs in the projections are names that you just have to start. McCaffrey, Taylor, Bijan, Gibbs, Kyle Monangai, James Cook, Kyron, Kamani Vidal, Jaylen Warren, Josh Jacobs, Ashton Genty, Javonte, Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne. I don't have them ranked exactly this way, but hell, I think that you probably need to start those top 14 names. The running backs 15 through 19 are 100% startable, and you're probably starting them in almost every game, unless you're in an 8-team league or a 10-team league where you only start 2 wide receivers in a flex. It's going to be Trevion Henderson, Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle, Chase Brown, J.K. Dobbins. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I did not even know who the running back 2 for the New England Patriots was. I think his name is Terrell Jennings, not Terrell Jennings. Who the hell is this player? Terrell Jennings. I'll add him to the rankings, but realistically, I'd start Nick Chubb over him. Like, there are very few players that I would put him in my starting lineup over. But with Trevion Henderson, they have not used him at all. Literally, zilch, nada. I think now that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active, I would start Trevion Henderson over Kareem Hunt. But Trevion Henderson, remove the players on bye, is probably going to be RB21 in my rankings this week. The projections are very shaky. I think you have a high ceiling because the talent that he is, the offense that he's in, the game environment that he should be playing in as well. But I think Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle are also shaky matchups in their own right. Then Chase Brown, J.K. Dobbins. I have Chase Brown ranked well ahead of these projections. I would start Chase Brown over Rico Dowdle, over Bam Knight, over Trevion Henderson. Maybe if you wanted to go take the Chase Brown higher than 70.5 total yards, you can. In reality, I just like the matchup. I think you have touchdown upside, and I think he's going to catch the ball. And then the running backs that I would try to bench, if you can, if you look at the projections, will be 20 and below. Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt. I have David Montgomery ranked ahead of these other running backs because I think Montgomery is pretty likely to score a touchdown. And then Kareem Hunt, I have ranked ahead of these some of these running backs well because I like his touchdown chances. Tony Pollard, I have ranked lower than a lot of these other running backs because he's in a garbage offense with little touchdown upside, but I'm starting Tony Pollard this week myself because I'm desperate. Now, let's move over this to the wide receivers. Now, the elite level wide receivers are going to be JSN, Chase, and Puka Nacua. It is interesting to see that JSN projects out as the best, higher or lower 97.5 total yards, but really, like, does it matter? I know everybody in the comment section wants to scream, oh, put Chase at 1. Oh, put JSN at 1. Oh, put Puka Nacua. It doesn't matter who you have at 1. This is the tier of the top guys, and you rank them in whatever order that you want. Then the next tier is CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashee Rice, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas. So every week, like I said, I'm not ranking these players just based off their underdog projections. But I will update one-off rankings where I go, hey, I am way off with this player's ranking in comparison to where the projections are. Like, I didn't know what to expect with Kyle Monangai. Underdog projects him as the 5th best running back this week. Like, okay, I'll rank him RB11, probably as a must-start name. This week, that guy is Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is higher or lower 69.5 receiving yards. For reference, George Pickens is 63.5. Rome Odunze is 62.5. London 62.5. Ladd 62. Nico 62. Debo 62. Metcalf 61. Adams 57. Like, Brian Thomas projects closer to like CeeDee Lamb than he does Davante Adams. So I need to move Brian Thomas way the hell up these ranks. He's completely removed from the injury report, while at the same time, I'm not going to move him ahead of these wide receivers in B tier, but I'll go ahead. I'll put him inside the same tier, just at the bottom behind Nico Collins. Remove the players on bye. Brian Thomas will be my wide receiver 15 this week. So I do think that you have to start him. He's fully removed from the injury report. You have no Travis Etienne, and it's a good matchup against the Raiders. Then you have Pickens, Rome, London, Ladd, Nico, Debo, Metcalf. All of these are startable players for you. I personally am starting Rome Odunze, Nico Collins, and DK Metcalf myself this week. The next tier of wide receivers, I would say all these players you need to start as well. Davante Adams, Chris Olave, Cortland Sutton, Xavier Worthy, Michael Pittman, Tedero McMillan, and Marvin Harrison. Then you get to the range of players that, dependent on your league settings, I could understand you benching, such as T. Higgins, Khalil Shakir, Wan'Dale Robinson, Romeo Doubs, DJ Moore, Jawan Jennings, and Stephon Diggs. And then on the opposite end of a player that I need to be moving down these rankings based off these projections is actually going to be Keenan Allen. If you look at the trend with the usage for Keenan, if you look at the trend in usage with Quentin Johnston, these players do project out as names that are losing a significant amount of target. Ooh, and we need to move Debo Samuel up as well. I didn't realize. I would honestly start Debo ahead of Sutton, T. Higgins. I put him in the same tier with like Michael Pittman, Olave, DK Metcalf. And I'm not going to put him ahead of Marv. I just love the upside that you have with Marv against Dallas. But if we are looking at Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, the usage that you are getting for the pass catching tight end now, all of a sudden is a very serious concern. So for me, I would actually probably move Xavier Worthy ahead of Keenan here, while at the same time, I would drop Keenan down below where I would start Romeo Doubs and Khalil Shakir over him. I think with no Luther Burden, with the plus matchup, with how uneven these projections have it, I think I'm going to move Quentin Johnston, who y'all know I'm really hoping for my Underdog basketball teams he balls, but it is what it is. Got to face the reality. Behind DJ Moore. I think I'd rather have DJ Moore at this point than Quentin Johnston in my lineup this week. But then outside of that, a lot of these players you should just be benching. I include this tier because I know some people here want to get cute and play someone like Chimera DK because he's had 2 games with 16 fantasy points, and they're not willing to face the reality that he plays for the freaking Tennessee Titans. And I want to point out to you that you have Josh Downs projecting for more yards, Kendrick Bourne projecting for more yards, Darnell Mooney projects for more yards. And then same thing, Troy Franklin had a massive blow up this past week, but Troy Franklin is higher lower at 36.5 total yards. It's a really tough matchup against Houston. So this last tier wide receivers, Tucker, Mooney, Bourne, Downs, Quentin Johnson, Kayshon Boutte, Troy Franklin, Chimera DK, and Matthew Golden are players that you most likely just have to go ahead and bench. But I think that's going to be it for this live stream. I'm going to be completely honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I am absolutely dead. I ran 50 miles. Here, let me tell you a little story of me running 50 miles real quick. Wake up, think the race is at freaking 6 a.m. So I get out of bed at like 4:30. Go, get to the race start. I did it last year, so I know where it's at. Nobody is there. Fiance checks the website. Packet pickups at 6 a.m. The race doesn't start till 7. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank God we got here at 5:30. Then have to drive over to a different thing, drop off a bag. Then I start the race, right? I did this race last year. I did a 100-mile race in June. So like I've done this stuff before. So I did the race last year. And my issue with these races always is I start too slow. And then I like still have energy at the end. So this time I went, F it, we ball. Last year I got 3rd in this race. So I'm like, and it was my first time ever running more than 30 miles. So I'm like, I know what I'm doing now. I'm going to start this thing off with a sprint. I'm going to try to win this race. I sprint the first 30 miles. I'm in first place the entire time. It's a 10-mile loop, right? So I see the fiance 10 miles in, 20 miles in, 30 miles in. I say, oh, I'm winning. Text everybody we know. Tell them I'm winning this race. Tell them I'm getting out here. Then I haven't seen anybody, right? I'm in first place. Don't see a single soul. Then I'm changing shoes because my feet are just killing me at this point. I've just sprinted 30 miles. And then I see, while I'm changing shoes, I see somebody else run into the aid station. I'm like, I don't know if I've lapped that guy or he's on my same lap. Then he runs, and then I follow him out. And by the way that he's running, I can tell this dude knows what he's doing. This dude is fast. He's definitely on the same lap as me. I did not lap him this early. So I'm like, I'm going to catch this guy. I'm in my mind, I'm getting hype. I'm like, oh, this mother effer, I'm going to catch him. Run after him. We finally hit a big hill, mile like 32. I'm like, honestly, I have to walk for the first time this race. Maybe he's going to walk. This is a massive hill. He keeps running. He drops me. I jog for the next 5 miles. Then somebody else passes me and I mentally break. I'm like, oh, dear God. I am zapped. So then I went snail's pace, shutdown mode, mentally broken, mentally drained, and run the last 15 miles. Still did it like 40 minutes faster than last year. Ended up with an average of a 9:20 pace, just the very end of it. I was just pretty much walking the entire thing, but it was horrible. And now I'm in just so much pain and so thirsty and so tired. So I actually may watch a movie with the fiance and then hit the hay. But of course, I'll be live answering all your questions tomorrow morning. And I will say, of course, if you want to say, Mason, you're an idiot, these projections mean absolutely nothing. I could beat them in my sleep. I'm telling you right now, you probably can't. But I'll leave you a link to Underdog Fantasy in the description, in the comment section, in the live chat. It's always there. Code FLOCK. You will get $100 out of your account after you play your first 5. And on top of that, you will get a free Josh Allen pick. Higher, lower, half a total yard for the game tomorrow. And you'll get free questions for these live streams. And I'm live streaming every single day, answering your fantasy questions. And again, I'll be live for like 4 or 5 hours tomorrow morning, answering them for you. But I really appreciate you and really hope that I get to see you out in the live stream tomorrow morning.